Most animal lovers who have pets say that they love their pets deeply and consider them very much a part of the family. People cuddle up with them, play various sports and games with them, take extreme care of them, and at times even leave their young children in their care. Normally, these are usually done with domestic pets, mostly dogs and cats. But who sets these rules? That only bonds can be made by humans with certain animals? Aren't the other animals, some of which, although wild by nature, capable of loving and reciprocating love? Let's today look at 5 such cases where humans formed close relationships with unusual animal friends. South African toddlers Kayla and Milan have rather unusual furry friends, Waku and Skyla, who happen to be the fastest animals on the planet. Yes, we are talking about cheetahs. Their parents, Kim and Hein Schumann, were experienced animal trainers who lived and worked in a reserve in South Africa. They took these 2 cheetah cubs home as they were abandoned by their mother. The Schumanns took care of the vulnerable cubs and ensured their survival. The cheetahs live with the Schumanns like any other family member and go out on outings with the family. The family walk them on a leash, play ball with them, and enjoy rides with them in their truck. Well, the only thing they can't do is to outrun them. Well, even Usain Bolt will struggle on that front, I guess. The couple hope to reintroduce the cheetahs into the wild when they are about 2 years old and are fully grown. João Pereira de Souza, a 71-year-old retired widower, found a Magellanic penguin from Patagonia washed up on a beach near his home in Brazil in March of 2011. It was covered in oil and fighting for its life. De Souza cleaned the bird, fed it, and nursed it back to health before trying to release it. But the penguin wouldn't leave his side. Meet Jing Jing. The bird does head out to sea for days, sometimes months, but always returns. I never saw a critter get so attached. You can let him go wherever you want, but he'll come right back, De Souza said. The duo spends about 8 months out of the year together, strolling on the beach and swimming. Mostly, Jing Jing just follows De Souza wherever he goes, and is now considered the village mascot. English conservationist Damien Aspinall runs the Aspinall Foundation, with the objective of breeding gorillas and returning them to the wild. He runs 2 wildlife parks in Kent, Houtless, and Port Lympne, where 120 gorillas have been born and 51 of them have successfully been returned to the protected areas of the African jungle. In 2014, Damien was filmed reuniting with Quibi, one of the gorillas that he had helped raise. Quibi was born in his English zoo and was eventually released in a jungle preserve in Gabon, where he was now raising his own family. Damien was naturally apprehensive as he was seeing Quibi after a long period of 5 years. But when they met, Quibi recognized him instantly and greets him with caresses, sniffs, nose rubs, and hugs. It was an absolutely unbelievable reunion between 2 long-lost friends. What's more, when Damien was finally leaving, Quibi followed the boat down the river and slept across his camp the whole night, keeping a watch. A potty-trained alligator named Rambo was adopted by Mary Thorne of Florida 11 years ago. They've formed such a strong bond that Rambo now understands her sign language and rides a quad bike with her. Mary says that Rambo is a gentle gator and loves being petted and goes for walks on a leash. He is somewhat of a local celebrity and has been a star of small shows that Thorne has put on for a few charities in her area. The trained gator has even been photographed riding on an ATV along with Mary on her motorcycle. She adds that Rambo watches TV along with her dogs and is so gentle that kids love him and have pictures taken with him. But in March 2016, Mary got a shock of her life when the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission denied her a permit to keep him, as he had grown beyond 6 feet long. After months of negotiating with the commission, she was finally allowed to keep Rambo. In 1969, John Rendell and his friend Anthony Bourke saw a lion cub in Harrods, London, which traded in exotic animals then. They fell in love with him, so they bought him and took him to their Chelsea flat. They named him Christian, and the lion lived with them in their furniture shop. He had a giant tray of cat litter, played with local children in the garden of a churchyard, was fed steak, and taken to restaurants and parties. Within a year, Christian had grown quite large to keep in a residential location. Rendell and Bourke knew that they couldn't keep him much longer. So with the help of conservationist George Adamson, Christian was relocated to Africa, where he was rehabilitated and released in the wild. A few years later, the friends decided to visit Christian. They didn't have much hope of finding him, and even if they did find him, chances of him recognizing them after all these years were slim. But what happened when they met was beyond their imagination. Christian first approached them cautiously, but then quickly leapt into their arms playfully and nuzzled their faces. In fact, his lionesses and cub welcomed them too. Their story has been made into a documentary, Christian, the Lion at World's End. I hope you enjoyed these heartwarming stories, and if you do, see you soon, and thanks for watching.